What is up, everyone? I am Jamie with Bulk Homestead. Jesse's doing something over here with the drill. I have no idea what, but we've been without power and without internet for a few days since the tornadoes hit, which by the time this video comes out will be almost a month ago. But today, I'm finally going to be able to get back into the greenhouse to start working in there again, because it's like almost springtime. Granted, we're supposed to get snow again, but in my head, it's almost springtime, so I need to get stuff planted. So that is what we're going to do. So it is currently 90 degrees in the greenhouse, which isn't too bad. Not too bad at all. But we're working on this guy today. I've got some herbal plants that I picked up at our local greenhouse. So I've got things like red yarrow, because yellow yarrow grows here naturally all over the place. I got St. John's wort. I got some shisho. I believe this is stevia. This has got broccoli in it. These are toothache plants. They grow little button flowers, and when you chew on them, your mouth goes numb. I love them. And then some horehound, and then these are just chives and stuff like that. So I'm going to get these planted. I also got some moringas that I'm going to up plant into a pot. The moringas will stay in pots so we can bring them in the wintertime, because they don't do well under 50 degrees. And then just some peppers and some more tomatoes. You okay over here?
Yeah. The hole swelled up.
The hole swelled up?
I'm gonna bore it out some more.
Jesse went ahead and took one of these doors down because they were all warped and just not the best. So he left one in, that way if we do have to bring something big in or take something like this back out, we have that option. But for now it is just completely closed, and we've got a new screen door, but the latch needs some work, so that is what he's working on real quick. I'm also going to be doing waters today, so he's on his own with that. And because we didn't have internet, we got power back before we got internet. We ended up hooking up the Starlink for internet just because we needed some form of communication. So he's got to put that away as well today. So that's what he'll be doing. He probably is not going to film any of it because it's really windy outside. So I know when it's this windy out, there's no chance of audio. So at least in here, it blocks the wind somewhat. So let's get started because I've got a lot of dirt debris. Now I did end up drilling the holes in these and putting down screen a couple days ago when I had the chance. That's all I had the chance to do, so that is already done. So at least that's one step. Alright, so the beds now have topsoil, they have compost, they have some rabbit manure that we had left over from when we had rabbits, little goat manure, and then some other amendments. So now I'm going to go ahead and add in my trees. What is that stuff called? Mulch. Mulch. It's been a long morning already. So I'm going to give each bed a mulch. These took a lot more dirt than I was really expecting. I thought maybe 2 bags would do it. No, they took 3 bags plus all the amendments. So, and they're still not really filled to the very top, but it's fine for this year. Next year we'll add to it as it breaks down more, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, let's get the mulched. One bag is too much for this. Alright, the beds are filled. I'm so glad I wear gloves. Why? If anyone has any good recommendations of gloves that aren't going to turn my hands black and not fill up with dirt, leave them down in the comments, please, because I go through gloves like crazy and none of them ever work. So, now that the beds are full, it's time to start putting some stuff in them. So, let's figure that out. Alright, y'all, so when we started, it was about 10 o'clock. It was like 90-ish degrees in here. It is now 12:30, which means it's almost time to start feeding all of the baby goats. But it is now almost 120 degrees in here. But I got everything I needed planted today, so these beds are done. I planted the starts I have, and then I also direct sowed some other seeds in here as well, so hopefully they will populate soon. And so I already watered everything down, gave it a nice good watering. We've got our peppers in this bed over here. I still have to transplant these guys, and the broccoli that I have is going to go outside. I've got tomatoes over here with some onions. I didn't plant anything in this bed except for a few onions, and that is because I have a ton of volunteers popping up from last year. So I'm going to let them just come up. That's what I did last year. Most of our tomatoes were volunteers. So I'm going to let them just pop up and then thin them out and transplant them as they get big enough. And then that way this bed will be, I believe this was all mostly cherry tomatoes in here. That's why there are so many popping up. But we'll let this guy go. This guy is more tomatoes, of course. So I think this majority of this bed is tomatoes. And then I planted a few red onions in between. These guys I planted a few weeks ago. They actually got hit by a frost, but they're coming back. So I'm not mad at them. I'm going to let them do the things. This bed I planted that same time I planted these. The frost got to them because the door was still broken, but they're coming back. So I'm going to let them be. So that is where we are at. This side, with the exception of that last bed, is done. I still have this middle row, and then all of these beds to plant, and then all of the stuff outside to clean up. And plus we still have to amend the beds outside, get those mulched, and get stuff started in there. We still have our garlic out there. Ooh, excuse me. If you've seen the video when we were cleaning that, we kind of just caught everything on fire except for the bed that we found we had garlic in, which we didn't plant because I was still in a neck brace last year, and so it was a happy surprise that we have garlic coming up. Will it be a decent yield? We don't know, but we're going to let it do its thing until it is time to harvest them, and hopefully we have a nice little garlic yield for ourselves. Thankfully, I had a pretty big yield before the accident, and I preserved a lot of that, so we still have some of that. But I'm going to get out of here because the sun just came out, which means it's going to get even hotter in here. And then we still have 5 more beds we have to move out here that Jesse put together and get filled with dirt. And some of those are going to be blueberry beds, some of those are going to be asparagus. It's just, we still have a lot to do, but it's a start, right? We've got it started. Alright, y'all, so I think I am officially done in the greenhouse today. It's a little warm and a little windy, and I'm a little tired. Alright, y'all, so I'm going to go ahead and end this because I still have to go and feed all of the babies and probably rehydrate. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, of course, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.